So we've told you before that Anthony Fauci is an unbelievable pathological liar. That's not hyperbole. The guy, if he's talking, he's lying. And so here he is. He's pretending. Now we caught another lie. So I'll show you the rest of the lies later, but here's the latest.
Recommend locking down schools if you had to do it all over again?
Well, again, it's first of all, I didn't recommend locking anything down.
Uh-oh. I think Dr. Fauci's lying his ass off. Let's see.
You're asking me questions. You're talking about the CDC is the public health agency. And I have always felt, and you go back and look at my statements, that we need to do everything we can to keep the schools open and safe. And
my question for you is, what was the most crucial decision you had to make during the pandemic? And what was the critical thought process that took you through it?
Yeah, the most crucial, it was a decision to make a recommendation to the president. It wasn't my decision that I could implement. And when it became clear that when we had community spread in the country with a few cases of community spread, this was way before there was a major explosion like we saw in the Northeastern corridor driven by New York City metropolitan area. I recommended to the president that we shut the country down. And that was a very difficult decision because I knew it would have serious economic consequences, which it did. And unfortunately, since we actually did not shut down completely the way China did, the way Korea did, the way Taiwan did, we actually did see spread even though we shut down.
First of all, I didn't recommend locking anything down.
I recommended to the president that we shut the country down.
Recommend lock.
I want to see a C-SPAN hearing of Fauci on questioning Fauci.
Yes. So someone even made a funnier video about this. Let's watch it.
Do you regret particularly the last one, the shutdown, the sweeping shutdown that some said made things worse?
No, I don't, Neil. And in fact, I think we need to make sure that your listeners understand I didn't shut down anything.
I recommended to the president that we shut the country down. And the only way to do that is by draconian means of essentially shutting down a country. We know that we can do that if we shut down.
Well, I think one of the things you really need to do, to the extent that you can shut down temporarily the country, I think is important.
Well, if I knew at the time that shutting down would have such a dramatic effect on controlling the spread, obviously we would have shut down earlier. There are those who say you shut down you destructive things by disrupting the economy. And others say, well, if you save so many infections by shutting down, why didn't you shut down 2 weeks earlier?
But I don't regret saying that the only way we could have really stopped the explosion of infection was by essentially, I want to say shutting down. I mean, essentially having the physical separation and the kinds of recommendations that we've made.
You've been a big fan of Cuomo and the shutdown in New York. You've lauded New York for their policy. New York had the highest death rate in the world. How can we possibly be jumping up and down and saying, oh, Governor Cuomo did a great job? He had the worst death rate in the world.
No, you misconstrued that, Senator.
Wow.
Yeah, it's Rand Paul who got that one wrong. Not Fauci, completely lying.
I never said we should shut it all down.
If you look, and I've been very careful what I've said. If you look at my words,
go back and look.
Go back and look at my words. I said keep the schools open. You want to see him lie again? Here he is being asked about funding gain of function. This is him lying to Congress, which is he should be in prison for it. Here we go.
That the NIH has not ever and does not now fund gain of function research in the Wuhan Institute
Do they fund
of Virology.
He said they don't. Want to hear it again?
That the NIH has not ever
does not now
fund
gain of function research in the Wuhan
Institute.
Do they fund?
Oh, NIH admits funding risky virus research in Wuhan. Oh.
Well, I call it gain of Fauci's research, and
one of the EcoHealth Alliance did indeed enhance bat coronavirus to become more infectious to humans, which the NIH later described as unexpected results of the research it funded that was carried out in partnership with the Wuhan Institute of Virology. So the NIH gave money to Eco Alliance, and it did enhance bat coronavirus to become more infectious to humans. The reason why there's this pandemic, it seems, is because Fauci funded the invention, the gain of function research that created the virus.
you know what?
That created a pandemic. No one's talking about this. You only know the only guy who was talking about it, Kurt? This guy, Jeffrey
right.
Sachs, because he has integrity. He was the chairman of the Lancet study group on COVID-19. And what does he say?
But I chaired a commission for the Lancet for 2 years on COVID. I'm pretty convinced it came out of U.S. lab biotechnology.
You know who else said it way back when, and everybody hates his guts for it? That guy, Brett Weinstein. I heard him say it right in the beginning of it. He goes, this looks like I never heard of that term before. I didn't make it up.
Me neither. I never heard of gain of function before.
But now it makes sense, because way back when, now I remember when it first came out, I thought it was China made it. I mean, it was the lab in China, but I'm like, oh, it's probably China. And if you think how hostile we are with China.
Right.
For this, because I was shocked about, oh, it's us. Why would they defend China? Wouldn't it be convenient to say, oh, China screwed up and did this? But they paid them to do it, so they can't do that.
So they can't. And that's why they said it was racist.
Yeah.
They said it was racist to say that the virus was created in the Wuhan lab, that was racist. And why did they have to do that? Because they have to shut you up.
Yeah.
Because if you said that the virus was created at the Wuhan lab, it would out them for being fucking criminals that they are, and that they invented the virus and created this pandemic.
Since when are they against being racist? Russia were racist all the time. It's because they're guilty too.
That's all that. So whenever you hear that charge now, it seems like everyone's suspect of it because it's bullshit.
Yeah.
When they do that, that means they're desperate to shut you up, just like Nina Turner was with me. She was desperate to get me to stop telling the truth about her. And that's just like Fauci and the government and the corporate media were desperate to get people to stop telling the truth about the gain of function research being done at the Wuhan Institute. That's what's going on. And this guy says it was created in the U.S. biolabs. And guess what else he says? They're not trying to find out where it came from. They're not even trying to find out why, because they're just like why they lied about ivermectin. Why would they lie about ivermectin? On the off chance that ivermectin can actually treat COVID, they wouldn't be able to get their emergency use authorization, and they couldn't make $100 billion.
No.
Now, and just so now, why do they want you not to be able to say the virus was created through gain of function? Because then they would be culpable. And so that's why they lied. That's why they lied. Go ahead, Kurt.
When people don't, because people like don't, I did Aaron and Katie Useful Idiots this morning, and we were talking about the Rittenhouse thing, and briefly, and Katie said something interesting about I thought it was strange when I saw the thing, but I was like, not the hill I wanted to die on, and I've heard that phrase, and I don't think she's bad for that. I'm not gonna, I like them, but that phrase, I like throughout the day, I keep. On the hill you want to die. They have everybody trained to be campaigning all the time. So you're not, that's why you're bad. Because you're not supposed to be even, why are we even talking about this?
Right.
Is that the hill? Why would I die on a hill for saying the truth? Why would that kill me on a hill? That they all think they've got to save up their capital for the big battle.
I can't tell the truth all the time, Kurt.
Yeah, it's
I have
not
to
even
go
bad
along
people.
with the establishment a lot.
There's an element where you got to have it built in. And that's why I noticed when I watched when I watch other news, I like Breaking Points. What I noticed from working here is there's a certain time when you're allowed to say the thing now, and depending what your level of news is, the lowest levels, who killed Biggie and Tupac, all the lowest of the straight, they all knew the whole goddamn time. Everybody else, it's a mystery. And now I'll watch, and now you could readily find out, but it's this big mystery. That's how these stories work. the polite society, there's like a release date or something that you're supposed to instinctually know.
Well, now, just like Bill Gates now will tell you that he's saying now that the virus.
It's when Gates says that's when you can say that.
It has a low fatality rate that affects mostly senior citizens.
You do got to look to a billionaire because the money's flowing downhill. So you go, what? Well, that's above my pay grade, the truth. What does my boss say?
That's right.
They all do it. That's why they don't want to look at the article and see it.
Well, I come from comedy, so I'm used to sticking my chin out.
So fuck
and
you
getting
if you feel like that.
That's right.
Not Katie,
I like offending audiences. It's fun sometimes to an uptight audience to fucking knock them out of their thing. And that's why I think that's why I'm much, much better at doing this in this news space than most of the people here, because they're afraid. And they don't have the courage or the guts to tell the truth when it goes against the establishment narrative. And they have to pick and choose when they're going to tell the truth. We do it all the time here at the Jimmy Dore Show. I told the truth about Syria. I told the truth about Russiagate. I told the truth about Trump, Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, the Squad, Ukraine war, the Afghan war, Libya. So we tell the truth about it all. And of course, the vaccines and the COVID narrative. Lost lots of friends over it.
Yeah, because
I lost lots of friends for telling the truth. But thank God I don't have to be those are called false friends. And they were all cowards. They still to this day don't have the balls to tell the truth about the coronavirus or the vaccines or Fauci or the CDC or fucking anything.
Is that the hill that you want to die on? That phrase, yes. That's it. That's, a ubiquitous everywhere phrase I've heard over and over on every bad idea. Is that the hill you want to? I'm like, what are you talking about? This is just telling the truth.
I'm just telling the truth. That the hill I'm going to die on is I'm going to tell the truth about things. That'll be the hill. So let's watch him.
Not out of nature. Just to mention, after 2 years.
He said after 2 years, it came from a U.S. biolabs. It didn't come out of nature. Let's fast forward a little because he's going to make it
not an accident of a natural spillover. We don't know for sure. I should be absolutely clear.
We don't know for sure.
There's enough evidence that it should be looked into, and it's not being investigated. Not in the United States, not anywhere. And I think for real reasons that they don't want to look underneath the rug control.
And it's not being looked. They're not looking into the origin of the virus. Why do you think that is?
It's not important. What's important is we lock everything down as quickly as possible and get a booster.
They're no longer looking for the origin of the virus. Why do you think that is? Do you think it's because when they find the origin, it will lead right back to Dr. Fauci and the NIH, and people will then find out they created a pandemic, by their count, killed millions of people? That would make them the biggest mass murderers in the history of the world.
Well, all I'm saying is OJ spent more time looking for the real killers.
That's right. So there you go. And you want to see a funny video of him just nonstop lying? Here we go.
People should not be walking around with masks. Let me just state for the record that masks are not theater. Wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and masks are protective. But it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is.
Mark, there has not been any indication that putting a mask on and wearing a mask for a considerable period of time has any deleterious effects. There are unintended consequences. People keep fiddling with the mask and they keep touching their face.
And can you get some schmutz sort of staying inside there?
Of course.
You do not need to wear a mask indoors if, in fact, you've been vaccinated. Good that you're vaccinated, but in a situation where you have people indoors, particularly crowded, you should wear a mask. So even if you are vaccinated, you should wear a mask. If, in fact, you are vaccinated, fully vaccinated, you are protected, and you do not need to wear a mask outdoors or indoors. When the children go out into the community, you want them to continue to wear masks. If you look at children outside, particularly when they're with the family, walking down the street, playing a game or what have you, don't have to wear a mask.
The pediatric, the Academy of Pediatric actually makes that recommendation that children should be wearing masks from 2 years old onward.
And you're asking now, if your child is a member of your household, can you walk outdoors with your child without a mask? According to that chart, the answer is yes.
But the child can't, not to beat it to death.
Yes.
Because now the CDC says, I mean, I think I've got this right. 1 mask is better than 0 masks. 2 masks is better than 1 mask. But you don't have to have double masks. Is that right? I mean,
it became clear that cloth coverings that you didn't have to buy in a store, that you could make yourself, were adequate. And then you want it to fit better. So one of the ways you could do it, if you would like to, is put a cloth mask over, which actually here and here and here, where you could get leakage in, is much better contained.
are you a double masker, Dr. Fauci? It looked like you are.
Looks like he doesn't wear a mask a lot of times. So there's Dr. Fauci, habitual pathological liar, just like Joe Biden, just like most politicians. And he should be in jail.
When science does it, it's not a crime.
Yeah. Hey, we're coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Detroit, Los Angeles, Spokane, Tacoma, Denver. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all our tickets for all our live shows. See you there.